As a young person, I was very interested in the acquisition of book smarts. In fact, by the end of high school, I had enough of them to get myself a scholarship to a fancy liberal arts college in Manhattan. Hailing from the Catskill Mountains in upstate New York, to board that southbound train was all I ever wanted, toward books and smarts and more gay people, please. It was while in this pursuit of book smarts that I quickly discovered one of the great advantages of street smarts, and that is they are free. And as it is so not so with pedagogy, it's not long before I am cocktail waitressing to pay for, you know, incidentals like food. And I'm learning, mind you, soaked in Shakespeare. I can almost talk about deconstructionist theory without actually saying anything and sound convincing, but books are expensive. And while 18-year-old cocktail waitresses are in no short supply, it seems there is ample demand. So, I'm turning a corner on 10th Street one night, post-shift short skirt, money in my pocket and wits about me, I decide to head to the subway through Washington Square Park. It's pretty there, and generally full of cops, a place I've been told not to try to buy weed. But as I walk into the park, a group of young men walk in behind me, hollering. They are NYU students, from the smell of it, and a combination of drunk and entitled. They are clearly not studying respect for women at the school I was accepted to and could not afford. They are hollering, and I do not feel safe. I had been hollered at before. I was at the time living in Bed-Stuy, where I was consistently regaled with attention and the moniker Snowflake. And I usually knew instinctively to smile or spit or otherwise handle it. But there is something violent about this crew. And there are 6 or 7 of them, and it seems no one else in the park. Where are the cops? I don't turn around, but they seem only emboldened by my refusal to acknowledge them, and their tone shifts from solicitous to pissed. They're getting closer. I'm dead center of the park by now, rounding a curve, when I see this giant man watching us from a bench. The crew behind me hasn't seen him yet, but they sure do when he stands up. I mean, he is huge. He rises, and he opens his arms, and he says, "Hey, baby girl, I ain't seen you in a minute." And I say, "Hey!" and hug him, so relieved and suddenly so safe. He regards my pursuers with one of those "I'm huge, she's with me, fuck off" faces they don't teach you in school. And sure enough, they move right along as we pretend to, you know, catch up. They are out of earshot when I say thank you. He shrugs, smiles, rolling my gratitude into his generosity as salt in waves, and says, "You get high?" Me? Yeah! "You want to smoke?" "Sure," I say, because the way I was raised, when someone offers you drugs, you say yes, thank you, because drugs are expensive. I had been on my way home, but he meant no threat and had so kindly averted one. I tell him I'm bound for the A train, and he says he knows a great spot on Barrow Street. So off we saunter. Or rather, he lopes, I switch. We arrive. Barrow Street in the moonlight, streetlight, we stop on a stoop to smoke. The pipe he produces, however, is like nothing I've ever encountered, and I ascertain, my brain a lightning montage reel of imagery, I realize that this man intends to smoke crack. Part of the brain montage, mind you, is mine an egg on a skillet, my future a dark series of blowjobs.
Oh my God.
The possibility that my heart could explode instantly is also something I had, perhaps, read, but in this instant I also decide that I am game. This is what this man, my ally, wants to do. Let's do it. He, we have established, is a consummate gentleman and offers me the pipe first. I'm terrified. He lights it and I inhale, accepting in this moment the distinct possibility that I might die. I smoke crack. And it's crack. It is fucking awesome. The Ice Queen from Narnia is running her fingers down my scalp, and I leave my body briefly on that Barrow Street stoop and ascend unto high. On crack. My heart does not explode. I return to time and space and stoop and strange sage crackhead companion, alive and grateful and ready to light the pipe for him. He then escorts me to the A train. I have never since smoked crack, and I might have made it through college without doing so, but I wouldn't have this story. And I ask you, who writes the books? And where did they learn? I'd wager that the first triangle was drawn in the dirt, and the wars and works of history fought in the dirt. Pretty sure a dirt sample was necessary for scientific analysis of the earth. And while I may have been high on crack, I'm certain that it's stories that give books birth.